What is up, guys? It's Mitchell or Deity, and I'm going to be talking about who to 6-star next within this video. Whether you're a new player and need to do your first 6-star, up to if you have like 5 to 10 6-stars and trying to decide who to work on after that. So within Epic 7, you are going to have, over time, a ton of 6-stars. So I'm going to go ahead real quick. I'm going to sort by how many 6-stars I have. So I have 88 total 6-stars, but the thing is, a lot of the units I 6-starred I don't use for anything. So it always feels bad when you waste resources on a 6-star, especially early game, and you find out it's not something you can even really use. But overall, most units in Epic 7 are usable. There are some that are just better than others, but you'll come to learn which are good and which are not. So starting off, if this is your first 6-star, my advice for your first 6-star is to either 6-star your farmer or your front wyvern tank. So if you want to push PvP, I would honestly 6-star your front wyvern tank first, which can be Montmorency or Angelica are usually the best two nowadays to start with to put up to 6-star, because they can front tank wyvern by themselves on this free gear, as long as you get the free gear from logging in for 4 days on the beginner login event. Then you will have this gear. You throw it on either Angelic Montmorency or Angelica, and either one can tank all the way up to Wyvern 13. I actually use Montmorency on my global account to tank Wyvern. So this is all you need. You don't have to have a tank class unit, because Soul Weavers are inherently tanky. So with that, you also have the option of doing a knight. So if you do have Crow, he can front tank, Rose can front tank as well. And just you just decide between kind of that and what you have in terms of your blue units, but you will guaranteed have Montmorency and Angelica, so those are just the safest options. But if you would like to 6-star your farmer first, just depends on where you're at. Honestly, 6-starring your farmer with the new penguin system might be the best bet. So if you start with Arbiter Vildred is instantly going to be your first 6-star. You just immediately go to him and just 6-star him right away, and then you just keep farming, and then second you would do your front wyvern tank. So with wyvern, you only really need your front tank to be level 60, and then every other unit can be using Daydream Joker at level 50 with high crit damage, and you will do plenty of damage. You don't need your wyvern DPS to be 6-star right out of the gate, or even if ever. So that is one thing to look at. Now, let's say you are getting to the point where you are trying to figure out, maybe you have like those two 6-stars, you're trying to see where to go to next. So from there, my advice for 6-starring units is going to just go ahead and be Falconer Clary, get Falconer Clary specialty change done, do her full awakening tree, and go ahead and 6-star your Falconer Clary. She will be used for RTA, all PvE content basically. She's going to be just amazing all around. And then if you honestly need 2 tanks, so 6-starring Adventurer Raz would also be a great idea. Now if you have other units like Lilius, you could do Lilius in place of Raz, but overall you do want an Adamant holder and an Aureus holder. So these 2 artifacts are super important. So having Aureus and Adamant on your team will help you stay alive and will be very, very good overall in trying to get into PvP of this game. Now, once you have, say, 5 to 6 6-stars, once you do these 2 tanks and then maybe 1 more damage unit, if you do another damage unit after your farmer, then you can just, any character that you really like, that if you do some research you find out is good. So not Mort, don't do Mort. But like Senya is actually pretty decent unit to 6-star if you do have her. She is a unit that will carry you as a early game player. She can be used on RTA for anti-cleave, so she just overall is very, very good for especially newer players. But if you do have some of the units like Landy and the premium DPS units, like maybe some ML5s, then they are also great options as well. But the biggest thing, as you're trying to figure out who you need to 6-star next, then by the time you have, I would say 5 to 6 6-stars, so do your front tank wyvern, your main farmer, 2 tanks, and then another damaging unit. And once you have all that, honestly, I would do, the order I would do this is front wyvern tank, farmer, tank, another DPS, and then another tank. And once you have those 5 6-stars, it's going to set you up for a good base team to get into PvP. So from there, you're going to be doing Guild Wars, hopefully. And once you're doing Guild Wars, the biggest thing is you're going to be looking toward what kind of unit fills the role that you're looking for the rest of the game. That's basically what you're doing from here on out. So once you have that core base amount of 6-stars, then you will just be in here trying to figure out what you need to take out certain teams. So say if you're trying to fight, I do not have a Guild War right now, but say the enemy team has single target dark units such as Spectre Tenebria, Remnant Violet, something like that, then you are going to want to look into making some kind of light tank. So with a light tank unit or a light tanky unit or a light targeting unit, you could do Ruel. If you don't have that, Fighter Maya. If you really are a super free-to-play player and just haven't summoned really at all, maybe you have Eaton. Eaton is a great option. There are a lot of units that will work good in that scenario, but then after that, there's other options. Say if you can't fight debuff teams, say Fairy Tail Tenebria is giving you a lot of trouble or things like that, then if you have Champion Zerato, that's an option, but cleansing units, so maybe you want to work on a Kitty Clarissa or Lilius or anything that you have there. So it's basically just finding the holes from that point, because the thing with this, I can't give like super in-depth advice because I don't know what you have on your account. Every account's going to be different, and it's going to be up to you to do as much research as you possibly can to try to figure out what will fit that next situation. So overall with summoning, also if it's going to fit into the 6-starring thing, you basically, as banners come up and you learn what the character does, if you find that you can use them in a certain area, then you can summon for that character and maybe make them 6-star next. So that is always an option. Say if you're missing a certain thing, then maybe go for that unit that fits that role. But overall, like the main tanks that are good within the game, I'll go ahead and go over them. Adventure Raz is great. Illynav is like not the best, honestly. Lilius is really good. Crow is absolutely amazing and always will be. Crow is great for Guild War and every content. Rose isn't ideal to do anymore. Falconer Clury, obviously amazing. Like I said, Senya's good. Fighter Maya is a good light tank if you have LR Crow, for example. Most of my units that I have 6-star are ML5s. You will get to this point too. The longer you play, the more ML5s you will pull. So if you see all these ML5s, you're like, I don't have any of this stuff. You will eventually get them. I've been playing the game since launch, or since Europe server launch, basically. So I just have quite a bit. But Troublemaker Crozet is another great tank option. If you do have him, then he is definitely worth trying to raise up and put gear on. He can be used for all content, everything. He is a good option as well. Tanks are one of the main important things in the game. And then for Soul Weavers are a weird class. You won't really use them too much in PvP unless you do have the premium Soul Weavers such as Ezreal Bassar, Maid, Chloe, Ruel, ML Haste. But if you have Tamarin is a great unit to 6-star early as well. But Rowana is okay, but she's kind of falling off. She can be good if you do have her. She is an option, but she's mostly a counter pick option. And she is good for lab and raid though, so not a bad thing to do. So you will be working on your raid team as well. So once you are getting more into trying to figure out and fill up your holes in your RTA / arena / Guild War team, you're also going to be looking into content such as this, which is lab. So with lab, you're going to be looking into maybe Commander Lorena is a good single target damage dealer, and units that are just good within this, which you can find guides for that as to looking at what they use and seeing what options you have that are similar to that. But overall, it's basically just, like I said, finding the holes. In RTA, you're going to get to a point where you're going to want AoE damage, which is probably going to be your farmer. I have a feeling most of you start with Arbiter Vildred. But if you didn't start with Arbiter Vildred, then you're going to have to find another AoE damage dealer. Say if you start with Spectre Tenebria, and it'll basically just be reversed here. So whenever you're getting further in RTA, you're going to find that you need a lot of AoE, but there are going to be some drafts that you want high single target damage. So with the high single target damage units, you're going to be looking at, if you're very lacking on units, maybe see if you have a Mursa. Mursa is a great single target damage dealer. She has survivability and isn't too terribly hard to build. And you can use a lot of the free lifesteal Abyss gear. And then also with that, you're going to be maybe T-Cern as an AoE damage dealer. You're just going to have to find those holes yourself. That's basically the gist of this video. But overall, hopefully this helps you. If you guys have any questions as to what maybe I could help you 6-star, comment it down below and I will respond to it whenever I see it. And I hope the rest of you all got something out of this video, whether it be the importance of making sure you have your tanks for PvP, or the thing with those tanks that I said, Falconer Clury and Adventure Raz, is they are both usable in pretty much all other PvE content as well. So they are like the most value 6-stars. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day. It's been Mature Deity, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.